Seconds, doesn't it? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Trek Con with Sir Rock Lofton, as always.
Hello, hello.
We are joined by Mr. Robert Beltran. You know him, you love him as Chakotay in Voyager. How are you, sir? I'm
good, and I'm not going to wear a mask.
Well, we've got a nice face shield in front of us. This is even...
This is the only mask you're going to see.
Well, we've got 6 feet apart, so we can still make it.
Yeah. Yeah, so great. Nice of you guys to invite me. I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah, it's great. I think we're having a little technical difficulties with Ryan's feed. But how have you been, Robert? How have you been?
Very good. Very good. My wife still loves me. My daughter still loves me. We had, oh man, Sirach, we had such a cute dog, little Coco, a little Maltese. And it was just the cutest, most intelligent, and this personality that, anyway, a predator got a hold of it. Just,
oh no.
She was alone for about 30 minutes and came outside, and she was, I don't want to go into it too much, but no. We just got her little sister from the same breeder. So she's helping us get over the loss of Coco. My daughter named her Kiwi, and it's a perfect name for her. She's little 10-week-old Maltese. So it's kind of helping us get over the loss of Coco.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So other than that, since I'm like, since actors are always semi-retired, the COVID lockdown hasn't bothered me too much. More so my daughter and my wife.
Yeah. Are you able to keep busy and in your retirement phase?
Yeah. I mean, I like to read. I've been studying music, composing for a long time now, but now I'm getting into writing, trying to write a fugue now, which is, I always thought that if I could write a fugue, then I'm pretty advanced composition. But it's just for right now. It's for 4-part chorus.
I know nothing about what a fugue is. I'm thinking of A Few Good Men, and yeah. I'm sure that's not it.
Fugue, Fugue, and basically the closest thing to it is a round. When you go, you sing London Bridge is falling down. Then the next voice takes it from the London Bridge, and both voices are going at, and then you add a third and a fourth.
They do that a lot with row your boat.
Yeah, right. They do it a lot on that. So it's not the same as imitation, which is a different kind of composition. It's fugue is much more complex, and so I'm having fun. I'm doing things to keep my mind from atrophying.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
That's important. Hey, yeah. So sorry about the technical difficulties. Sirach, Garrick was messing with you this week, but I guess you realize I felt left out. That's how Garrick shows his love. Yeah. Robert, real quick, actually, Polar sucks is the name. Says, nice to see you, Robert. Grew up watching you. So thank you very much for that great comment. But
thank you.
You were telling us right before we started recording that you are in a new short film called Butterflies. I just checked out. I only had time to check out the art real quick, but the art looks amazing. And you're saying that the cinematography is awesome. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, it's written and directed by Ken Brisbois, who we became friends. Our families became friends because our daughters went to the same school when they were in preschool. And so, I took my daughter to the park one day, and she was playing in the sand. We were both making, sand castles, and she saw somebody. She goes, "Lane!" It was her friend from school, right? Who also came with her father. And so I met him, and I don't think we even talked about show business or anything. I didn't know he was a writer director. And later, we found out, right? So eventually, he sent me this script called Butterflies, and I read it, and I was amazed at how beautifully written it was. Just two people in a hotel. Great story. I don't want to give too much away about it, but people have been checking it out, and it's been getting almost all excellent reviews from everybody. So even really people that don't like me, they like this.
So it's two people in the movie. Is it the whole movie?
Yeah. It's about 14 minutes long, and I play this kind of like go-getter, like high Wall Street guy, who usually meets with a particular girl that he has his assignations with, who he likes her because she's in a wheelchair and she's really handicapped. But this time, there's another girl there that he doesn't want. And they have this little tete-a-tete together, and it's very, very beautifully written.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see that because there hasn't been that much original stuff and new things coming out lately. So
right,
I'd be excited to have something that stimulate the senses and tell a beautiful story.
I think you'll like it. I really do. I point people to it unashamedly because I think it's really good.
Oh, good. We do have one review here. Cherry Pie says, I watched on Amazon Prime. Fabulously intricate story.
Thank you, Cherry Pie.
If you were to describe it in one word, would you say intricate? Or would
the story is complex, and it has sort of as you dig deeper into the revelations of the characters, it's like peeling an onion, things come out.
Sure. And everybody at home, we've got the link in the description box of this video. So after this video is over, just go in the description box, click on the link, check it out, like Sirach and I will.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the girl that plays in it with me is it's her first film. She's about in her early 20s, and she's just terrific.
It's great.
And beautiful.
Everybody wants to
gorgeous.
Well, I'll definitely check it out.
Go ahead, Sirach.
Are there any roles, Robert, that you feel like you wish you would like to play that you haven't played already?
There are. I mean, I'm getting a little visitor here. My daughter has brought me Kiwi.
That's Kiwi.
It's a tribble with eyes.
Is that cute?
Yes.
Is that cute or what?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
How old is Kiwi?
She's about 9 weeks, I think.
Oh.
Oh wow.
You want to sit on my lap? Come on.
It's a little loofah.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
Maltese dogs are adorable. They're really smart. They're very frisky, and they're really fun to be with.
She seems well behaved right now, surprisingly, for 9 weeks.
Yeah, she is actually. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So what was the question? Oh yeah. Well, yeah, there are some things I want to do. When it comes to film and television, you're sort of stuck with whatever you audition for, or whatever your agent says. Hey, you want to audition for this? And you read it and you go, oh no, not really, or yes, So I'm mostly thinking theater stuff before I can't memorize anything anymore. I can't walk across the stage without a cane or something, you know. So
you're not that close to it, but
no, not yet. I'm still pretty good, but so you know, I'd like to do some Ibsen. I'd like to do some Shakespeare, of course. In Ibsen, there's a great play called The Wild Duck, and the guy who plays the father. Ibsen's so great because all the characters are so complex and damaged. They are so damaged. And I'm starting to go back to Edward Albee, and he's incredible. There's a couple of Edward Albee plays that I would love to do or direct. And then Shakespeare, you know, those are the ones that come immediately to mind. I'd like to do Othello. Hopefully there won't be a backlash. But I always tell people the Moors were in Spain, and they intermingled with the Spaniards. Right. So I might have Moorish blood. I don't know. You know,
I do have Moorish blood in me.
Do you really?
Sure. Yeah, because of my Spanish side. But yeah, anybody that has Spanish blood in them is going to have some North African in them, which is always really interesting because then you see here in California, we've got architecture that is very Mexican and Hispanic in nature, which came over from Spain, which came from North Africa originally. So it's like we've got all the roots in there. Anyway, what were you saying?
It's all interconnected for sure. Mm-hmm. So Othello's one. I'd like to do The Winter's Tale, and I'd like to do The Tempest and Macbeth before it gets too late, and I can't do sword fighting. So we'll see.
So you like a lot of Shakespeare stuff?
Well, I like because I started off in the theater and I love the theater. I like the challenges that those great roles offer an actor, right? Hugely psychological. The depth of the psychological state of mind that they're in and that they go through during the course of the play is for an actor, you just can't beat that. Same with Ibsen. Same with Arthur Miller. There's a couple of Arthur Miller plays I would love to do, and O'Neill. So, yeah.
You know, I'd love to see you in The Tempest. I think that would be amazing. What's the older character's name? The dad. What's his name in The Tempest?
Yeah, his name is Prospero. Prospero.
Yes, Prospero. That'd be awesome.
The magician,
right? Mm-hmm.
Who renounces his magic at the end, and
spoilers. It's still new.
No sound. Anybody can hear me?
We can hear you.
We see you and hear you, Cyril.
Hello.
We lost you just for a brief second.
You're good.
Yeah. I can't hear you.
Sir.
Ryan's morphing a little bit.
Well, the good news is, Robert, is that you're having zero issues at all. You're like, your audio is perfect, your video is perfect. Sirach and I are just
I took my microphone and unplugged it and plugged it back, and I got sound all of a sudden.
Oh, okay, cool.
Figured it out.
So let's change gears for a second, Robert, and talk about your favorite subject, Voyager.
Yes.
Very quickly, you've probably been asked every single question there is to be asked about Voyager in your 25 years since joining that show. But here's a question that I have not heard the answer to by you. Myth Dustard says, Robert, what was your interactions with the writers like on Voyager? I mean, they probably didn't come to the set too often, but if they
did, they were there all the time. Way too much. Yeah. Way too much. My interactions were really good when Jerry Taylor was still there and Michael Pillar.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Loved them. They were great writers, and they had a feel for Chakotay, I thought. Ken Biller also. In general, after about the third year, I just thought, you know what? I just want to do my work as an actor. I don't want to do some playwriting and screenwriting. And I, as long as they don't have me doing something too stupid or, embarrassing. Although I think they got away with that several times.
Really?
You know how it is, Sirach. You just want to do your work, man. You don't want to have to deal with all the other issues like, sometimes you get the script on a Sunday night, and you got to be at work at 5:30 to get into makeup, and they just send it. You get the script at 11 or 12, and then you're not going to get any sleep if you work on your scene. Maybe 2 or 3 hours at the most. So it just becomes such a hassle, and you just go, you know what? I'm going to cut out everything and just concentrate on what they give me. And unless I can't take it, I'll just do it, or I'll just make a quick phone call.
Did you find the directors? Go ahead, Sirach.
Yeah. So.
No. I was going to ask if there was more of that in the first 2 seasons, and then you just said, "All right, I'm throwing my hands up in the air in the 3rd season," or was there more fights and stuff like that?
Well, the thing is, with Jerry and Michael, I could call them and say, "Hey, what about this? Hey, what about this?" And they were very receptive, With the others, and it wasn't always with the others. It wasn't. It was the quality of. They always had one good scene, maybe per episode, but there were like maybe 2 or 3 that were just kind of throwaway scenes. I felt, anybody could have done them. Any one of the characters could have said them, and so that didn't seem very challenging for me. I like some kind of a challenge, I remember when we would always get together with the writers, would invite the actors individually to have dinner with them to talk over the upcoming new season, right? So in one of those, I just said, "Look, guys," they asked me, "What do you want? What do you want, Robert? What do you want?" I said, "Well, I didn't want to come."
They were close talkers on you there, huh? What do you want, Robert?
They were right across the table, like, "What do you want?" I said, "I didn't want sushi, that's for sure." But
the famous sushi place.
Sushi.
Yeah. Did you go there, Sirach? I'm sure you did.
I've heard stories.
Yeah. So I just said, "Look, guys, I just want one good scene every episode. One good scene that it's not on the bridge. One good scene when it's not always with Kate. Let me have a scene with Garrett. Let me have a scene with Tuvok. Let me have a scene with, it seemed like I was always talking to Kate, and everybody else. I was just saying, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, Captain, can we talk in the quarters?" And so that's all I ever asked of them. But at that one dinner, that's when they did come up with a boxing episode for me that I really liked.
Right. Yeah.
I think it was Joe Manowski script.
Why do you think it was so difficult for them to write for Chakotay and have so much?
I don't know. You know what? People, when they would have interviews with other actors, or when the writers were interviewed by certain magazines and stuff, I would hear that they said, "Well, he's the first officer, and first officers are always difficult." And I'm, what? What? First officers? Come on, that's a bad excuse. That's a bad excuse, because I'm not a first officer before I'm a human being. I'm a human being first, who happens to be the first officer on the. And I figured if you can write something really good occasionally, then you can do it all the time if you just put some effort into it. But maybe I made them angry. I don't know.
With the first officer thing, Sirach, you come from a show where a first officer was incredibly written for. And the other thing I want to say about that very quickly is maybe thinking of it that way is the wrong way to look at it. And this is me, just coming from the fans' perspective, but you weren't a first officer. You were the captain of your own ship that was assimilated into another group, but they could have written for you as a captain that's working with another captain. It's another way to look at it.
Where were you in those days, Ryan?
I was getting into trouble as a kid.
No, you're right. You're right. That's certainly something that they could have used. So I would get a little frustrated sometimes, and sometimes I would, Sirach, when you're getting ready to do your close up, and in between those moments where they say action and they're saying, hold on, gotta fix a light here, tweak a light here, and you're waiting for them to say action. Well, hold on, we just need a few more minutes, a few more seconds. And in those moments when they had the camera running, but they hadn't said action yet, that's when I could slip in some things, like I said, hey, well, because we used to have dress up for Halloween, on the set, and everybody used to come dressed, and then we would have a prize for the best costume. And there was one of those moments where the camera was running and they were tweaking something, and I said, hey, I'm going to be coming as this script and scare the shit out of everybody. So the word got back to me in the dailies that the writers weren't too happy about that.
Oh, they heard that.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on to the next thing, I've got to ask you, what was the best costume in the 7 years of Halloween's, besides the script idea, of course?
Well, there was always one of the crew, because they usually had the time to do it. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. But it was a big day. It was a big day, dress up Halloween, when Halloween came around, and St. Patrick's Day, because Kate used to, pay for a feast, an Irish feast, every St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you at more conventions, Robert. Is that something that you kind of stay away from, or are you just kind of, when your schedule permits, that you do?
It's mostly my distaste for airports and flying. I don't mind it when I'm there. I just cannot stand being, especially flying overseas, to Europe. That is just so long. And I rarely can sleep on the plane. So I'm spending 2 or 3 days just recovering from the flight. And the convention is going on, and I'm having to, try to stay awake, signing photos with those huge lines that they have at the Federation, FedCon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so hard. That's mainly the reason, honestly. I just don't like the travel.
Wow.
I understand.
Yeah. Do you drive up to Vegas during Star Trek Las Vegas?
No, that would be torture. The 1 hour flight is torture enough, but yeah, that Greyhound bus, like Southwest Airline, no, I don't mind that. Short flights, to Texas, Minneapolis or something. Those are fine.
Sure.
Even the East Coast is fine, but going over to Europe is kind of tough these days.
Somebody says very quickly, he was interesting in Tuvok's holodeck simulation. Pirate Chakotay.
Pirate Chakotay?
The Tuvok's holodeck simulation.
Oh, he was interesting in Tuvok's holodeck. Really? Okay.
You had a lot of great moments. it did kind of make me wonder if like the writers were like, well, rather than give you one good moment in every episode, why don't we just give you one great episode out of every few? You know, maybe that was their way of compromising.
That would have been nice. Yeah, that would have been
nice. Yeah, you mentioned Michael Piller, and a lot of people don't have the opportunity to really or didn't have the opportunity to get to know him, but he was a really caring guy, I thought, and thoughtful, and every time I saw him, he was just a real genuine person, and I enjoyed the times we shared together. So people don't understand that because they don't have these interviews with Michael Piller. He left the world too soon, but he was just an awesome man, awesome guy.
No, I agree with you totally. He was always encouraging and out for the best for your character. He was very he was looking out for Chakotay. I know that.
Yeah. Really? That's great.
Yeah.
It's great to know. A lot of people here keep asking and mentioning the new Picard series. Have you seen any of it? And if so, or
no, I didn't even know it was going on.
Really?
I haven't seen it. No.
If they,
where do you see it anyway? I don't even know where what the
CBS All Access. You can watch it on CBS All Access. Yeah, it started January 23rd of this year. Went 10 weeks, and that was now the first season is done. I can tell you off air. I can share with you the information on how to check it out. But what's
Are they
great
doing a second season?
Yeah, second and third. Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually, if it ever happened, if we're ever able to start production again, is that something you would consider? I mean, it's 20 years in the future after Voyager comes back to the Alpha Quadrant, so it's basically been 20 years since then anyway. So people from Voyager, Deep Space Nine, and Next Generation are able to reprise their roles as basically the age they are now. Is that something is that something you would consider? if CBS called you and said, "Hey, want to come back as Chakotay?" Would you say sure? Would you say, "Well, what are your ideas?"
I would have to read it first. I would really have to read it first, and if it was just for instance, there was a series called. It was a comedy that was on Fox not too long ago. The name of the ship was also the name of the series, the Orville. Orville. The Orville. Right. And they had some of the Voyager actors on, but I was really surprised that they had nothing to do. They had one or two lines, and it was just like, hey, let's get him to be in it, to say these two lines. Yeah, let's get him, And I was just like, I would not do that.
Well,
just to be on the show, it's not enough for me. I want to be on the Orville. No, and I don't necessarily want to be on Picard. Sure. Picardo, yes, I would. I would do Picardo if there was such a. But Picard. It would have to be a good reason to do it,
Mm-hmm. I think what you're alluding to is like Tim's role in the Orville wasn't. It was,
I don't know. I can't remember who it was.
Tim had they didn't give him a ton, but Bob Picardo on the Orville, he had a couple episodes. It's a really good role.
That's right. That's right. He played the father of the.
Right. Yeah. Picard, they're doing a good job of giving people good roles that come back. Frakes and Marina and all them. But anyway.
But they can always do the trick that they did to me once. I was guest starring on, this was years ago in the 80s. I was guest starring on a TV series that was pretty hot at the time. It was a 2-part cliffhanger at the end of the season, right? And Ed Asner, it was a great cast.
Oh.
So they sent me the scripts and I read them. I thought, wow, this is really good. But the night before we got to do one of the scenes that I loved the most, they had given all that stuff to Ed Asner, all my dialogue to Ed Asner. So he did that. you know. And so that's what I'm always afraid of. You know, in television, once you've signed the contract, they can do whatever they want with you.
Mm-hmm.
One time I was doing a film. I signed up to do a film. I went to wardrobe, and one of the aides came to me and said, "Oh yeah, here's your new script." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I was flipping through it, waiting around to get my wardrobe, you know, and then I noticed there was a key scene missing that my character was in. And for me, it was the most crucial scene for my character, so I could have like an arc, you know. Without it, there's no arc. So I called my agent. I said, "Hey, I'm not doing this movie if they don't put that scene back." And he said, "Robert, what do you mean? You're scheduled to start day after tomorrow." I said, "No, I haven't signed anything, so I'm not going to do it if they don't put that scene back. I signed up to do a particular script, and this is not the same script anymore."
Right.
He goes, "Oh my God, let me get back to you." Well, the director called me, pretty well-known director. He said, "Robert, come on, what's the matter? Come on, we're going to start. We love you. We want you." I said, "No, well, if you love me, put the scene back." He goes, "No, you know, we just thought it wasn't really necessary." And I said, "Well, but it is necessary for my character, I believe. So let's just make this short and sweet. If it's not in, I'm not going to do it."
Right.
And he was mad and he did not like it, but I said, "Sorry, no." And so you just don't know. You just don't know what they'll try to pull, because it's happened to me, you know.
Well,
So
that's a bait and switch right there.
I could get a great script from Picard, and then show up on the set, and it's all changed. All the great dialogue has been given to Patrick Stewart, you know. "Well, we believe that blah blah," you know, and he's got all the great lines, and I'm just going,
That was
right,
spot on.
And if I've signed the contract, there's nothing I can do about it.
I know exactly what you mean. I've been in a similar situation where I was reoccurring on a show, and they called me, said, "Would you like to do another episode?" I said, "Sure, sign me up. You know, I've already been on the show, already know." They said, "But we want you to read this script first." And I said, "No, I don't have to read it. I'm good." And then they said, "No, just read the script." And when they said it again, I was like, "Okay, what is in this script?" Yeah. And then when I read the script, I was like, "No, you're right. You guys are right. I see why you wanted me to read it. I don't want to do this."
Yeah. Well, at least they had the good, you know, at least they warned you, gave you the, you know.
Yeah,
these two times that I've told you about, I was not told about it. So until I got there.
You know, Robert, we've got about 10 minutes left. One question I don't remember if I've asked you this before, but it's something I know I've at least mentioned to you, is I really, really need you to start doing audiobooks. You've got the coolest, silkiest, smooth voice of anybody in any Star Trek franchise. And please either tell me that you are doing audiobooks or that you would consider it, because we all need to be able to just relax and listen to the smooth stylings of Mr. Robert Beltran.
I do Patrick Stewart's voice in the audiobooks. Once upon a time. Oh, that's really nice of you. Thank you. I would love to do it. No, I haven't been asked to do it. I was asked when after we had finished Voyager. Right after that, they wanted me to write one of those novels, you know, those Voyager novels, Star Trek novels.
Right.
And I said, well, I talked to the editors, and I said, well, I don't really know what I could write. You know, I'm not really a science fiction guy. And they said, well, don't worry about it. We'll do it, and we'll just put your name on it. I said, oh, really? Okay. I said, no, because what if I hate it? What if you guys do a lousy job and I don't like it? My name is mine. That's my name. And they said, oh, come on now. So I just didn't do it, you know. But audio books, I would love to do.
You have a great voice. Definitely could listen to you reading a book all day. I have a question.
Very nice of you. Thank you.
Who are some of the people that influenced you growing up and to kind of help mold you into the man you've become today?
You mean performance-wise, actors?
Yeah, actors. Yes, mentors. Just you seem like you have this, really good understanding of the world and just this broad understanding of the craft. And I just felt like maybe there were people that influenced you heavily, or if you just found it on your own as an up-and-coming actor.
Well, I had the good fortune of working with I went to Bakersfield College, junior college, before I transferred over to Fresno State, and there was a director there, professor that was just great, and he took special interest in me. He cast me in everything that he did, and he was really good. He saw that I had some potential, but he also saw that I was kind of constricted emotionally or something, maybe. So one time he got me out on the stage alone. He said, "Now do a cartwheel." I said, "What?" "Yeah, do a cartwheel." "Okay." "Stand on your head. Can you stand on your head?" "Yeah." "Climb that rope." And then and while I was doing this stuff, he goes, "How's your father doing?" I said, "My father is doing good. Is he living? Do you guys live together?" And I said, No. We were divorced. My mom and him were divorced when I was young. "Oh, well, how's your mother?" I said, "Oh, she's great. She's great." He said, "Do you love your mother?" I said, "Yeah, I love my mother very much." He was poking at me, psychologically, trying to find. At the time, I thought it was kind of strange, but it was kind of liberating too at the end, I felt like it was okay to take off masks, just get rid of the masks and just be free as yourself, because I think that's one of the things that people have a misconception about acting, is that all we have is who we are, and that's the only experience that we have, and that's where we go. That's where we come from, right? I mean,
yeah.
Otherwise, we're just imitating. I don't want to imitate Marlon Brando because he's a good actor. I want to be myself. I want it coming from me, from my own experience. So he was really, really influential. And then I had another one at Fresno State. But also I read a lot of books too, Sirach. I read a great Sidney Poitier bio, and I just love him. He's an incredible actor. Anthony Quinn, John Garfield, Peter O'Toole, because what you can't get in real life, we just lost you, Sirach. What you can't get in real life. Okay. What we can't get in real life, you go to the next best thing, and that's like a book,
Right.
For history, and that sort of thing. So I mentioned my mother, but she was my biggest influence by far.
Right.
She would have been a great actress.
People are saying right here, Robert and Sirach have good chemistry. We're thinking, all right, buddy cop show. That's it.
Perfect.
Buddy cop.
Perfect.
Who's good cop and who's bad? I think Robert's probably bad cop, right?
No.
No, he's good cop. Okay.
Too hard. Let me. I'll go either way.
I'm sure he's got the full range. Yeah, that's the nature of acting. You can cover both sides.
Yeah, I would love that.
We have just a few minutes left. You are still acting. Is there a kind of character in particular that you've never gotten a chance to do that you always want to do, like maybe like the wacky neighbor or the psychopath or the psychopath killer, or somebody with a disability or something? Is there something that you haven't quite explored yet that you feel like you'd like to do at some point?
I would like to do more comedy, that's for sure. I did 2 pilots that were comedies that just never went.
Really? Well, can you tell us what they were?
One of them was called Family Martinez. And it was a really fun. It was written by and produced by Tommy Chong.
No way. How did that not get picked up?
I don't know. Stupid, And it was about 2 friends that had grown up through the barrio and became, one of them became the lawyer and the other one became just a goof up, goofball.
Which were you?
I was the lawyer. Nice. So I was like the straight man too.
Mm-hmm.
The straight man with a lot of jokes himself, but and then there was another one. It was a Western called Rio Shannon. And that didn't go either, but that was like more drama comedy, I think.
Mm-hmm. God, missed opportunities. A Western, and you playing like the straight man in a comedy, but with jokes of your own.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Robert. In my experience, at least from my observation, a lot of the Star Trek actors end up into a certain box of typecast. And I want to know if you've experienced any kind of typecast or that you feel you have from your experiences.
Yeah.
Probably to an extent, I think it's inevitable that when you're on a show for 7 years, they're going to see you as that. The nice thing about it was that about the 7 years in playing Chakotay is it was not a one-dimensional type character. So I think that if you look beyond the tattoo and the Starfleet uniform, there was some episodes that could have been taken out of context, out of the Star Trek story, and put in another story, and it would work just as well.
Yes.
So I'm sure some people in the casting sessions, they say, "What about Robert Beltran?" They go, what has he done? But he's only done Star Trek Voyager. We don't need that. Could be.
And butterflies.
Yes. Yeah.
Guys, sorry, we're just about out of time. Very quickly, though, looks like you can sing here. Rico E. Anderson says, you guys got to get this buddy cop show made. That's all there is.
Hey, I guess so. I'm not going to object to that.
Rashid says, thank you so much, Robert, for doing this. Chakotay.
I recognize Rashid from the Twitter account.
Great.
And Katie Carr. Katie Carr is here.
Right. She's the best. Ballerina. She's always posting tons of Voyager love. We love Katie Carr.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So we do want to thank you so much for taking the time for this. We know it's not easy when everybody's demanding your time here and there, and we're really appreciative of you doing this, and the fans really appreciate it very much as well.
I'm always happy to talk to you guys.
Oh, Siraki said always.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, that's a good thing. And it's so good to see you. I mean, that hair, man, is just—it's got to be back on TV. You got the great hair.
That hair and that voice. Yep.
It's got you got to.
Let's find something we can do together, Sirach. That would be fun.
I would love to do that. I would love to do it.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Stephanie Williams says Butterflies is awesome, and Eve England out in Wales says she'd love to hear some of your music. You have music?
Yeah, I mean, I've been composing, so I do have. I've built up a little.
Great.
Library of stuff. I'm hesitant to let people hear it.
Okay. Well, if you're ever ready, we'll add it in the description box.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yes.
There was one of the names. I forgot her. Her name. Anyway, she tweets. She was like the second or third one to go back. Very nice person.
Katie Carr?
Good. Not Katie. It came after her.
Stephanie. There was
Stephanie.
Oh, okay.
Was it Stephanie?
It may have been Eve England.
No, one before that, I think.
Oh, I'm out of names then.
I'm sorry.
Anne Marie, that's my guess too. She's always amazing.
We're just gonna start throwing names out. Sally.
Oh, there's Morgan,
Yeah.
Nike, and anyway, I'm just recognizing a lot of names. Stephanie Williams. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Stephanie Williams.
Okay, so we do have to run. We've got a video coming up in just a couple minutes. It's our closing ceremonies, and thank you so much for rescheduling with us to slide in right under the gun, Robert. This has
Absolutely
been awesome.
And that was my fault. We were supposed to meet last Thursday, or I can't remember the day, but I just couldn't do it. Saturday. So thanks for putting up with that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our cop show. We'll be coming soon.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Make sure everybody out there check out this Butterflies movie. I will be watching it myself. It's available on Amazon Prime.
Thank you. Thanks for the plug.
Great. And it's in the description box below, guys. So check it out real quick. Enjoy it for your weekly viewing. And we'll see you on the next video. 1,000 thank yous to Mr. Robert Beltran. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's do it again.